cruise into the second half of the show here for Monday morning. I want to thank Lindy's Cafe for the view out our window here on the Morning Brew. Thank you, Lindy's. Love you guys. Okay. Aaron, that's Lukas Perry right there from NewsCastic.
Thanks for being here.
How are you?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Doing well.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking in the green room prior to the show.
Yeah.
When you guys were on last week, you said, we've had the best week ever.
Right. Right.
Then you said, scratch that.
Yeah, scratch that again. So, week after week, we just see more and more page views on a daily basis. So this last week has been our best week to date. Some of the days even hit 70,000 plus page views.
Wow.
So a huge increase from the previous week as well.
That's incredible.
Which is fun to see. It's on the up and up, which is nice.
And you guys have some really interesting stories, which, I think a lot of people can relate to them. So that's why people get so into it. Just the titles.
Right.
One of these I didn't see yet, but How to Speak New Mexican.
Exactly. How to speak New Mexican. This story in particular really hits home for me just because I grew up in Albuquerque. I'm familiar with all these words that were highlighted in this story, all the phrases, and I even find myself saying them pretty often, I think. The story does an exceptional job of portraying the dialect or accent or slang even that comes from New Mexico. And this story also did tremendously well this last week with 25,000 Facebook likes, something around there.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool to see.
That's
so
huge.
That's crazy.
I'm just going to run down a list of some of the words that we
put up for you.
And you'll see that a lot of the pronunciations are pretty similar, obviously, because coming from a Spanish accent is pretty prevalent here in New Mexico. So the first you might hear, vamos a 7-Eleven, or
7-Eleven.
let's go to 7-Eleven, or something like that. Second would be bag, or bag.
Bag.
But that also kind of strikes me as sounding Canadian. So, not entirely sure.
You got my bag. What?
Next down on that list is milk. So, pasa la milk or milk. So, pass me the milk.
Yeah.
Suddenly I'm on the Juan David show here. He talks that way.
Trying to throw some Spanglish in there.
Yeah.
So
that's what he would say. Okay.
Next down on that list is drawing. So, I need to finish my drawing.
What?
Look at my drawing.
Exactly. Also, maybe later I'll feel like a hamburger or
a hamburger.
A hamburger instead of hamburger.
Man, let's go get us some hamburgers.
And then also down on that list, quiero un sandwich or Palo's on there. But also with this one, okay, sandwich.
I've heard that one. Yeah, I'm like,
sure.
What?
Sandwich, throwing in some unnecessary letters. But the last is crayon instead of crayon. I definitely say this. I don't know why, but maybe it's just easier. Not entirely sure.
I think it is.
Crayon.
But also not on that list. But what I hear and say often is using the word all as an adverb. So to give you an instance, you might say that's all good or that's all bad.
Yeah, heard that.
So what's all bad or what's all good?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Hey, that's all crazy.
Exactly. And along with that, I tend to add fillers at the end of sentences, not completing the entire sentence. So I might say, "Do you want to go to the grocery store or what?" Or what else you want? Or what else you want to do? So, that's.
What's really funny is another one I think of is like when people are in your car. Do you want to get down?
Exactly.
Like, get down.
Or get down, or get out of the car.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that story was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
That's really cool. And the thing is you hear these all the time, but once you actually see them, you're like, oh yeah.
So maybe now you'll catch yourself.
Yeah. Back when I was playing music DJ stuff, people would call you for a record request, and they say, "Would you put for me Billy Joel?"
Right. Right. Exactly.
Put for you? Okay.
All right. I'll put it.
I'll play that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Man. But my favorite just saying that I can only get away with in New Mexico is like, yeah, la, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. That
Yeah.
was definitely highlighted in that story.
Let's go to the next one. I like
Sure.
this
All
one
right.
too.
Sure. So-
The self-proclaimed capitals
Exactly.
of the
The
world.
10
This is good.
self-proclaimed capitals. I think if you're remotely familiar with New Mexico, then you'll get a kick out of a lot of these. First on that list is Española. Now, Española might be known for a few things, but they're definitely known for being the lowrider capital of the world.
Yeah.
And there was actually a New York Times article that said that there seemed to be more lowriders than normal cars. So, just something to think
that's
about,
the New York
understandable.
Times,
you know,
Yeah.
Sure.
cruising around, bouncing up
I
and
think
down.
they're kind of proud of that, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
if you live in New Mexico, you have to own a lowrider, apparently.
Yeah.
I see them all the time.
Yep.
right.
Next down on that list is Cimarron, and they're known as the cowboy capital of the world.
I believe it.
And not only because there are cowboys living there now, but because a lot of famous names like Kit Carson, Buffalo Bill, Jesse James have all lived there.
Wow.
So I think that's a
Makes
well-earned
sense.
title.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Next on that list is Gallup.
Gallup.
And right on their billboard it says the Indian capital of the world.
Huh.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there are 20 different Indian groups around the Gallup area.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, there you go. That makes sense.
another one makes sense. Grants, I actually didn't know this, but produces the most uranium for the entire country.
I did know
So, I'm not entirely sure where
Pretty
all
good
that's
museum there
going.
about that
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
And then next, I did know this, Moriarty and Mountain Air are the pinto bean capital of the world.
Ooh.
And Mountain Air actually used to have the largest bean processing center
Right.
in the country.
If you want some pinto beans, go down to
They have a
Moriarty.
bean festival in Moriarty
Yeah.
every
That's
year.
right.
They do.
That's
They do.
right. That's a big deal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep,
It is.
exactly. And then if you didn't know that this was a place, but Hatch is definitely
Hatch green chili.
the chili capital
Yes.
of the world.
They wear it
Definitely.
proudly on their sleeve.
Yep,
No.
exactly.
No doubt about
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And then of course, Albuquerque has to make that list, being the ballooning capital.
Of course.
And
Everybody knows
every
that.
year, tons of people from around the world show up for this event,
Oh, yeah.
and it's said to be the most photographed event in the entire world.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool that it's
Here in our
Albuquerque.
hometown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then following that, Roswell. So
Aliens?
you might
Yes.
you might be familiar with Roswell and their speculation of alien crash.
Speculation.
Oh, yeah.
You
Talking
mean it didn't
about?
happen?
You know,
You want to
alien
see
crash
some
landings.
UFOs and aliens? Just go down to Roswell. They're all over the place.
Well, according
They're
to
little kooky people. That's all it is.
They've taken that story and made a cottage industry out of it. It's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah,
Very clever
absolutely.
on their part.
No, the
absolutely.
town does really well with it. So
Yeah.
And then ninth, Anthony is a small little town, border
Small
of
town.
New Mexico and Texas. And what they do is they have the biggest leap year party, every 4 years on the 29th,
Kind of like
celebrating.
the Olympics or something.
Yeah, celebrating the birthdays or people with birthdays on the
That's cute.
29th.
oh, so all the people in that picture there are what, 18?
Yeah. You
Oh,
might
yeah.
have a beer
Pretty
with
much.
someone who's 6 years old.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
And then finally, Albuquerque makes the list again, being the fractal capital of the world. So fractal
yeah.
is an image that is created from mathematical computation. And every year, Albuquerque actually has a fractal challenge or competition to see who can create the most beautiful images. And then the winners of this competition then get to have their image displayed all around the town. I mean, in schools, on billboards, public works, which is pretty
kinda
cool.
neat, too.
Yeah, they're definitely fun to see.
And Albuquerque has this thing called Fractal Fridays. I think it's
Exactly.
at the History Museum
Right.
or the
Planetarium.
Planetarium.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've
Yep.
Which
taken
is
the
really
whole
cool,
fractal
too.
thing and made it our own.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Lucas, this
Right.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank
Now
you.
we could talk about this stuff for hours.
Check it out on NewsCastic
Absolutely.
online. And the beautiful thing about NewsCastic, too, is that if you like to write, you want to contribute a story,
Yep.
send it in to them.
Absolutely.
That's
It's
great.
it's easy to do.
You're on Facebook, so make sure to like them.
Absolutely. ABQ Facebook.
You guys post a lot. I see it a lot. Hey, good to see you, Lucas. Thanks for coming in. Great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
I appreciate it.
We'll be back in a moment. We're going to meet the folks involved with the Who I Am Foundation, a worldwide organization right here in Albuquerque. That's next on the Morning Brew.